Now, every January turn, we roll the dice to see if England goes to war with the United States. And we don't want to get a 1. And he's good. And then we roll for Turkey. And Turkey's good. We go to April. And it's back to the Prussians. Take a roll for reinforcements. Just 1. I'm going to take a 2 off. Put 2 in. And build 1 on Berlin. Okay. Then it's the French turn, and we'll see what we want to do with the Navy. I think this fleet up here is going nowhere because Nelson, and I think here we're going to try to escape. Let's do it. Whole force. And we fell. Okay, according to the blockade table, the English can immediately attack. And you know, the way the thing's going in the ocean, I don't know if I want to if I'm the English. I'm happy keeping them bottled up. Let the French attack. My morale's better. Why? That's what they want. They're trying to escape and trying to get in a fight and see what happens. I'm just going to stay there and keep them blockaded. So let's try to run the blockade there. I can get out, get on this side. Nelson can't do anything to me. Nope, missed that one. And they can choose to fight or stay there. We're just going to stay there. Okay, end of the naval phase. I'm moving Eugene from Rockfort to here, and I go 1, 2, 3, and I want to force march him twice to here, and I get the -1 off my dice. And I get it. So that would be the only attack for the French. The English go inside. They're double to a 4. I got 4, 5, 6. Morale's the same. I get a +1 to the dice. And it is 4, half is 2. It's 3 to 2. So it's 6, 7. 1 and 1. So he loses 1. And I lose 1. I'm going to do it again. This time it's 2 to 1. 5, 6. 1 and 1. So we take this one back. We knock that down. What I got to do here is make sure he doesn't get me on the alliance table and keep the Prussians out for a little while. I'll build 1 more there and I'm good. Get Eugene out of there. Everybody's moving up here to the Prussians. I want, basically, the main army's going to attack from here. The second army's going to attack in the north. And I'll have a third smaller army come in this side. All roads lead to Berlin. Well, naval phase. Let's take these ships and go 1, pick up this, 2, 3. So 1. Okay, so nobody doubled up on reinforcements. The English did get another ship, so they gotten 2 ships back. And they built 2 more men, building up Uxbridge's forces there. Get ready to go somewhere. We left the alliance table where it was. And the Russians finished off Sweden and moved troops back out into Finland area and left 5 men in Stockholm. So everybody finished moving here, and we moved to May, and let's do Berlin, and Berlin doubles up, so they'll buy a cavalry. So Prussia's done. It's back to the French turn. when the Swedish force got removed, it says all units. So the transport and the naval units off the board with the rest of the Swedish troops. That's unfortunate, but it really helps the French. The French rebuilt their ship, and it gets to be placed in any port or any city that they're using for a production that is not occupied by enemy troops. The rules specifically state that ships blockading are not in the port itself, it's out in the sea zone. So since the English do not occupy this port, the ship can go there, which gives the French an extra ship, one more than the British. Therefore the blockade is automatically broken. So in the French naval phase, they're moving out with the transport, and the English ships are going to pursue. So the English need to roll a 5 or a 6 because they were in the coastal hex, and they get a 5. They intercept the fleet. The French is the larger force. It is not 3-2. With the French being larger, the morale goes to the English, -1 off the dice, and it is a 1 at 1-1, and a larger force is sunk. That ship that the French just built got sunk, and this force has to retreat back to the port, and the English blockade them. So that takes care of that. We can wish to get in another battle. I don't know. Maybe I'll just run the blockade right here. Let's run the blockade in the Atlantic Ocean. See if they can escape. And they do not escape. They can conduct a battle, which they do not wish to conduct a battle. They'll stay there. And that's it for the naval phase. Let's go to the attrition. I'll do the attrition, the alliance, the reinforcement, and the movement. And then we'll get back, see if we have any combat. Uneventful for the French. They didn't double up on reinforcements. They spent 1 point on the French ship, built 3 builds. Most of my builds right now are going to go here and here to build up for the armies ready to fight Prussia. And then I'm just collecting minor troops here. Lands with his cavalry force has not reached the British this turn. He'll get there next turn. That's it. Nothing on the alliance table because the English know we're even right now. So it's the English turn, naval phase. Let's see what we got. Well, I mean, keeping the French bottled up there if they don't want to fight is just as good to me. I mean, we're playing a chess game here, but I'm going to go ahead and take Nelson in 1, 2, 3, 4 ships and a transport and drop off. So we're going 1, 2, 3, and 4. We dropped off 1 production point to Prussia. Excuse me, not that way. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3. No, I don't want to do that. We'll get to you. We're going to leave it like that. We'll get this English ship on the way back. So right now, I only have 3 ships that can do something here. We'll see what happens. So, that's the end of the naval phase. We will go to the attrition, alliance, Well, I'm going to shut it off just to do the attrition and the reinforcement and the movement. So, let's get the alliance phase over with. Since I gained a production point, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 to 3. It's another -1 or +1 to the English. See what they get, and they don't get it. So the English got a 6 on their reinforcement. So 2 on the ships. And then they built up 1 strength point to save, and then they built 3. I'm building up the armies here on London and Uxbridge. And that was it. Russians are still just gathering forces and bringing them there. This is the second turn. Deitole is in Finland, and the Swedes are building up, and the Austrians are building up. And we move to the June turn. And we'll do Berlin. And I think I'll just move into Berlin, and then I'll just show you the stuff where we have fighting, like the naval phase, and then I'll just move through the turn. Any fighting I have, like we'll have one here, I'll show you. Any dice rolling. But other than that, I'll just take the Prussian turn, see if they double up, and the French. Now the Prussians do have that extra production point the English gave them, so okay. What I'm thinking about doing is taking this force from Amsterdam, going 1, 2, 3, 4, and just landing some troops in with a leader in London. I mean, why not make the English fight or scare them? Actually, I need this transport up there. Tell you what, just so the English don't start blockading me, I'm gonna step out from here and go 1, 2, and I'm gonna attack this British force right here. Now he has a chance right here in intercepting, but you know, he doesn't have enough forces. We'll have to let them take the hit. Again, is that a wise move for the English to move their force over here just to get Prussia in the war? I think it is. I think it's worth it to try to get Prussia start fighting. As soon as Prussia starts fighting, I got this whole army ready to crush, or at least harass, the French. So let's do this battle. It's definitely 2 to 1. Larger force is French, so you have to subtract 1 off this dice. And it's a 4 at 2 to 1. Smaller sunk. There's another English ship down. This has to retreat to the nearest friendly port, which will be there. 3 French ships are now ready to move. And I think I want to move these. See, if I move these to the transport, I'll tell you what, these are going down here. 1, 2, and they're going to attack these 3 ships. No, I ain't going to do that. I'm just going to put them there. Why? I got a bigger force there. It's tough playing all the navies around, but I think I'm doing the right thing. I got to stay at sea. I don't want to get blocked. And then I just want to attack the port, so I'm going to stay at sea every time he lets me out, because he's trying to reinforce Prussia, and he can't just send a couple ships, because I would pursue him and sink him and sink the transport. So he's forced to cover it, which leaves this side weak, and now I'm moving out. But now he's got me back out of the water, and he's going to come back and start sitting in the ocean with me again until I make a move. So I'll leave them there. Okay, I'll come back after all the French turn is done. Well, the French turn is done. We're just consolidating troops. I lost 5 strength points in the attrition, killing me. Anyways, we did get rid of the last British city point there. Gone. So we now up on the alliance table again by 1. But the British since they don't have anything to fear from here in their naval phase, they're going to take one of these ships with this transport and take another production point to Prussia. They're going to take their main fleet and go 1, 2. So they'll go 1, 2, 3. That way. And we're always going to keep a transport with us just in case. That way we have enough to deal with this force when it moves. Then we're going to take this force, put it in the water. This force, combine them, put them in the water. Then when this force comes back, we're going to go after down here if we can. Now, again, when it's my move, he gets to pursue me. But at least I'll watch that big force now. And I got transports that can transport over here now to Russia, or, as a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and take this other transport and go 1, 2, 3, then back in the water and give them. So I'm spending 2 production points. Just gave 1 to Russia. Gave 1 to Russia and 1 to Prussia. Remember, we want their builds. The whole point of the English is to help build these armies up to fight the French, while trying to harass the French everywhere else. But those are production points that I can give to help me on the table in this coming up alliance phase. So that's it for the naval. I'll come back. Well, let's roll for the alliance, because now I have 2, 3, 4. I'm up 1 again on the French. Remember, we need a 6 because we have to get a 7, and it's a 6, so not close enough. So I'll do all their moves, attrition, reinforcements, and then if I have any attacks, I'll let you know. Well, we're in July, and the Germans double up theirs, so they have the 2 plus the 1 that the British gave them for 3. So that's a cavalry and a man. They're almost at full strength. I'm going to hold off here a minute. I'm going to try to do the same thing I did last time. Get that French fleet right here and then run that blockade. I'm not moving these guys, so the French Navy's doing nothing. I'll come back. And on the alliance phase, I'm actually up by 1. So let's turn the Russians neutral if I can. And for them, I need to get a 1. Oh my gosh. Can you believe the luck? English been trying at least 6 times to get the Prussians, and they can't do it. Russians go neutral. Now the English are really in trouble. They're down by 2. They got to get the production points to the Russians. So now, I think secondary for the English is stop worrying about the French fleet and trying to contain it right now. Let's start flooding in. Remember, they can put a lot of production points into Russia, and for every production point they give, it'll help them on the alliance table. So let's just do that. So we'll do them both now. Okay. So I'll go along with the French turn. Well, the French are done, and man, I get hurt. I've lost 3 French strength points again. I spent 1 on the ship, so I only built 3. I got 1 more Dalmatian though, and then I got the Holland 1 back, and I got the Bavarian 1 back, and then 3 regular French, which I stuck right here with Bernard. I'm building this army up here. This is where Napoleon's going to go. Lannes is going to go, and I'll leave Bernadette to collect reinforcements as these 2 go in the north. This army is all broken down into 5 pieces with cavalry holding back, and 5 armies each, and we're going to bust in this way. So, I mean, remember, in the scenarios, you have to go way back here and get Königsberg. with our optional roles, this is not a production city, the land rear one. So all I have to do is take Berlin. So the Prussians' best defense is to form up behind the river and make him attack from the river if we can, and try to hold Berlin. But of course, as we know with the French, we want Denmark. I'm thinking about having the Russians go, but the Russians turn neutral right now. But I was going to have them come over since they own the Swedes here. I can unload right here in Lubeck and march across. But didn't happen that way. We got the alliance table hurting for the English, so the English turn is next, and they're going to try to dump production points here and watch that fleet right there. So as far as the English naval units are concerned, this one will go 1, then go right into London for 2, 3, 4. So they'll go back there carrying 1, and this transport will go 1, 2, and they'll have to hold up there. Where's the other transport? That's all I got is 2 transports. Well, they can carry 5 production points, so next turn it's going to have to bring, I think right now, forget the Prussians, we're going to give this to the Russians. I got to try to get the Russians in. So we're going to carry 2 production points on that transport.
Now, unfortunately, those 2 production points don't reach Russia this turn, so I can't sit in the water with any cargo, so I'm just going to have to go into port and wait till next turn.
Because that's all I got saved. So these 2 go down, and that's it for the English naval phase. I'll do all the rest of the turns, then we'll come back. I really wanted to get Uxbridge unloaded somewhere, but it fell apart when I lost the Russian alliance, so alright, we'll see how it goes. Alright, we're done. Austrians doubled up on their production. The Russians didn't. We're just throwing forces to the front. And the English did not buy any troops. They just gathered 2 production points and saved them. And 1 fleet production point, because we got to get our fleets back. So that's it. We are in August. See, I've been running behind. I was a couple months behind conquering Austria, and now I'm a couple months behind attacking Prussia, but I'm almost ready. I just wanted to get a few more forces back there, but doesn't look like it's happening. Since I got Russia out of the game, I think I'm attacking this turn, so we'll go with that. One thing, I haven't been using the demoralized combat rule, section X, which we'll start using now. So you never have to retreat when your morale is 0. And you just roll to see if some troops surrender. And this really helps you move the way the French like to move, but it does help the Allies too, that a big force, just because they get D1 or D2, they don't have to withdraw from the battle. Anyways, it's the French's turn. Navy, I'm not going to move that. I've got this waiting here, but I do, in the reinforcement phase, I get a ship back that I'm going to buy off my last point, and I can set it there. So we'll wait 1 turn before the Navy does something. Everything else is done. We paid for the ship. I rolled a 5 on the reinforcement. It goes there. Because Napoleon's there, you add 1, becomes a 6. So I doubled up. Just condensed some forces around, moved around, and we're going to go ahead and invade Prussia. We're going to attack the capital of Saxony. And since these are all Saxon forces, they're just going to go in. Messina is going to attack. Messina has 3. We're going to give them the 2 cavalry for 4-5. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. That would just put me on the river. I'd really like to get over the river, but I guess if I can get rid of this, I will. So let's take Devout. Devout has 5. And let's move to the city of Leipzig. Let's take Marymount, and we're going to switch. Marymount's going to drop forces. Marymount's going to go here, drop forces off, then go back. Devout will come and drop forces there and go to Leipzig. So we're switching some forces around with Marymount. Well, Marymount won't go back. He'll just go with Salt. Both those will go there. So all Marymount's forces are with Devout. Let's do that. Salt. I guess I'll put Salt 1, 2, 3, 4. The force march is easy for the French. 1. I get the -1, and it's only in August, so we get that. I think they're French units. The Salt French units. Yes. Oh no, there is 1. So anything but a 6 on that force march. And he got it. Okay. The cavalry will go 2, 3, 4. Hoping I could get Hohenlohe still in supply, but let's just put this cavalry here. Let's move Ney 2 and 3 in case I want to reinforce with Hohenlohe. And then lands will take 1, 2, 3, and we're going to force march 1. And he got it to Munster. We'll start our attack up there. We're taking lands. Bernadette. The cavalry will go 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'll just stay right there. I don't even think I'm bringing Napoleon in. I'm going to leave him on the reinforcement table. Alright? And the attritions were great for the French this turn. I didn't lose any. They were all stacked at 5 before I started my movement. So, okay. I'll just roll some dice here and tell you what happened. I'll be back after combat. Pretty uneventful there. We're besieging this. At the end of the combat phase, it gets a 1 marker. Besieged 1 turn. We pushed a Hohenlohe back. He withdrawed in good order. That's how we leave the supply line coming from Munich. Up there, that one man's taking the supply there. He took over Kassel and Brunswick. And that's it. It's up to the Prussians to put up a defense of Berlin any way they can. And I like to use the rivers. When the attacker attacks from a river, he gets negative modifiers. So we're going to try to put up a defense along here and hold that. And let's buy some troops. Hopefully the English can get them some money. So that's the end of the French turn. So the English turn, again, they need to set about getting Russia back in the game and supporting the Prussians. Since they're watching him there, they got outnumbered here. We don't want to move out because both forces will then be able to pursue. If I stay in the coastal hex, yeah, then they're all going to be able to attack him next turn. Yeah, let's go. 1. And they're going to get pursued here and here. Taking the transport. We want the transport up top, that's why. So, Here is one pursuit. Remember, 5 or 6. This is going to be the force that's at sea. Add 1 to the dice. He's in, and the other force. The other force is in. They both make it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 ships against 3. It's 2 to 1. The smaller force is the English. So add 1 to that die roll. 2 to 1 table. And a 4. So we go in favor of the English, whatever that is. 4, it would be -1 because it would be a smaller force retreat. So he has to retreat to the nearest port, which he goes to Gibraltar, which is nice. That's why I hold on Gibraltar. You don't know how important Gibraltar is. Some people just like to give it up. And it's great if the British are owning the sea, but as you can see, we're not owning the sea.
You know, I'm never interested in the French blockading the English, because the English will just run the blockade, and I think as an English player, I will take that battle every day and just get the French to retreat and then go blockade them. So as the French, I really want to stay in the ocean and make the English think about moving around and only getting battles then, not by blockading the English. So I let them retreat and I don't go after them. And the French fleet remains in the water.
The British take, how many production points they got? They got 2, and they used both of them and send them to, let's see, what would 1, 2, 3. Sending 2 there will even that up. It doesn't help. Doesn't help at all. I'm out of production points. Okay. Let's save a production point and give 1 to the Prussians. 1. The ship that was here will go.
So what I decided here, remember the ships I had over here in the port that were heading to Russia, if I give the Russian these 2 production points, it doesn't improve my alliance table, because it's only the immediately next alliance phase that I can use them, which I don't outnumber the French, and so I won't be able to turn the Russians back to my side. So I'm not interested in giving them production points. I'd rather them take their time, stay neutral, and not get a lot of forces on the board, because the French might get them on their side. So I'm just bringing them back. Now let's just give the production point to Prussia.
1, 2. I think that's all I got, right? Those 2 transports operating. Where do I got another transport? There it is. So Nelson will go 1, leave and come back. This force says no, I don't want to intercept. So that's it for that. We're going to get some more transports going. So I didn't use 1 production point. Prussia got a production point. Just going to help them build forces. That's all we're trying to do. Put a 1 there to remind me. And the naval phase is complete. I'll come back after all the other moves and see what we're doing in Prussia. Okay, everybody else is done. Russia is the only one that doubled up on their reinforcements. And the Prussians in the war, it's 3 to 2 right now, so the English are not going to get a big advantage, but they're sure going to try. Anyways, we're going to take Hohenlohe. And these guys are going to try to come up the river this way. I would like to get a force here, here, and here. So I'm going to take leader A and move them right there. This force is going to have to come around if they want to do anything about it. And leader A is going to take Hohenlohe, is going to go there. Hohenlohe has got 2, 3, 4, which is okay. I want to take the cavalry off Hohenlohe. We're going to put the cavalry somewhere else, just like this cavalry in Berlin. Brunswick and Ruckel. Manenberg's not a bad spot to hold. I'll go up to 9 with Brunswick and go right there with Brunswick. Ruckel is going to run leader A. As it comes down, it's going to drop off. It's going to leave the rest of these with Ruckel. So it's 1, 2, 5. I'll take 1 guard and drop them with Brunswick. So leader A dropped 1 guard here before it moved down. Ruckel goes to there. Then all the cavalry. We're going to hold on to Mandenburg with cavalry, and then I want cavalry on this side blocking that approach too. So it's a pretty good defense, I think, right there. The only other problem would be to put cavalry here to block this force. Wouldn't mind attacking A out of Brunswick. It's only got 3. We're going to have to leave a man with the cavalry. Yeah, I think I'll go like that for its defense. But for the most part, the French only have 1 transport to do anything to England. I wonder if I should get some English. I could get some English in here, right here. Threaten the French supply line. I think I'm going to do that. And the Prussians somehow on the coast, maybe. We'll see. Well, let's see if the Prussians, I think they can hold out another turn. Alright. It's the end of August. Moves to September.